Out of all the perk tier lists that I've ever done, somehow we have never done a perk jingle tier list. So ladies and gentlemen, today we're kicking it off, starting it off with the classic Quick Revive. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's hit it. How's the Quick Revive jingle? I mean, come on. This is iconic. It falls to the ground if you want to get up. I think everybody remembers this. Listen, so on my tier list, I basically just said that, like, I want it to be, like, iconic if it's going to be good, right? So let's go through our criteria here. We have iconic, then we have, you know, it's great, but it's not on repeat. You know what I'm saying? Then good, like, I'll listen to it, but I'm not going to listen to it a lot. And then below that is, it's all right, but I'm never going to listen to it again. And then lackluster is completely at the bottom. I'm going to be honest, man. I'm going to be honest. I think people are going to hate me with this one. Original Quick Revive, I am going to put in iconic. I wanted to put it iconic, but I'm going to put it in great. I'm going to put it in great because, listen, I think the Shadows of Evil versions are much more iconic. So let's actually take a listen to the SOE version of Quick Revive. Like, ooh, listen to that. Oh my! Listen to that boy go. Need a little revive. Oh, I mean, come on. Listen, I gotta say, I'm SOE biased. Shadows of Evil perk jingles were crazy. Listen, I know there's Monty jingles. I know there's a bunch of other jingles, but to be honest, Quick Revive, I think, is a great jingle, but that SOE version is going up to the top. Listen, I'm an SOE bias lover. I think a lot of people are going to hate me where I put these jingles, but it is what it is, man. The SOE ones are absolutely king. So, ladies and gentlemen, now let's go on to the classic, good old Jug of the Nog. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get it. Let's see it. I mean, everybody knows this. Everybody knows this. I think it's iconic. I say that, and then I remember our Z House video where nobody knew what the jingle was. So, I mean, maybe just for that I have to dock it a point. You know what I'm saying? Tonight, Sugar Production. I mean, it's a classic. Honestly, I think because it's Jug, more people remember it than QR. So I'm going to put regular Jug in iconic, but I'm going to put it below SOE Quick Revive. There's, like, so good jingles that came out of Shadows of Evil, man. That's why I think Quick Revive definitely deserves it. Okay, now let's get to the actual better version of Juggernog. It's the Shadows of Evil version. It's the Shadows of Evil. Listen, I like this one. I will say, though, I don't think it's as iconic as the original. So I would actually put this one, I think, underneath. But that part right at the end, bro, oh my gosh. See, that's the thing, bro. The ending of it is really good. So you know what? Okay, for Jug, I'm going to put the SOE version of Jug in great. Like, listen, Shadows of Evil popped off with so many of their jingles. To me, that's where a lot of these shined. I'm not going to lie, I think, like, the later perks, like Death Perception and Elemental Pop, they're not that great comparatively, because, like, the originals are just so dang iconic, bro. And Tombstone, see, the thing with Tombstone, bro, is that, like, this one is going to be an interesting. Okay, we'll talk about that one a bit, because it's like, I don't even know what that one has even evolved to. Now, let's get into the classic four here. We got another one here. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Speed Cola. Now, Speed Cola got you in a jammer. I mean, come on, those instruments. I've always loved Speed Cola, I think, as my favorite jingle, both in, like, everything in the original and in, like, the SOE version. So the original is so good. And then this ramp up, it's got that, like, salsa type feel to it. I mean, but bro, okay, listen, the original's great, but bro, I think, and I've always said this, my favorite perk jingle, hands down, is Shadows of Evil Speed Cola. Listen to this. Like this. Ooh. Oh, oh. This is like snakeskin boots as a perk jingle. That's why I think it just hits so well. Like, the instruments, you can, it almost sounds like two people are dancing. Oh, come on. Honestly, I'm putting its own tier. I'm sorry. Listen, no. SOE Speed Cola gets its own tier. Yes, it does. Ladies and gentlemen, literally, I know people are going to be like, what the heck is this guy up to? Nah. Listen, Shadows of Evil Speed Cola gets his own tier at the very top, bro. It is just so dang good. But you know what? I'm a Speed Cola bias. I'm going to even put the regular one above SOE Quick Arrive. I don't know what to tell you, bro, but like, they cooked so unnecessarily hard on Shadows of Evil Speed Cola. It's just ridiculous. But genuinely, all these OG perks are just absolutely phenomenal. And I think if I were to rank them any lower, I would literally get sacrificed. Now, this is very sad because we have a perk where most people now have forgotten about. Ladies and gentlemen, double tap. Kids don't even know what double tap is. We haven't had this perk since Black Ops 3. It's almost been 10 years since this perk has debuted in a zombie game, bro. And everybody loves this jingle, man. The root bigger shout. It sounds like I'm in like a K-Kona bar, America up in here. Listen, I like it. I think if you're a Zombies fan and you dog on the original 4 perks, there is genuinely something wrong with you. So you know what? I think, again, for Double Tap 2.0, I'm going to put it just behind original Speed Cola. It's genuinely that good, man. The original perk jingle is great. I will say, though, I don't think I necessarily like Double Tap SOE too much. Let's give it a listen. It's a little too slow. You know? Like, for Double Tap, it's a little slow. On the shell. It sounds like this guy's drunk or something. Oh, his game moves slow. Double tap. Double tap. Double tap. I mean, it's not bad. It's not bad, but it's not as good as the original. Right? So, I like the way it ends here, though. Listen. Going down, down. Double tap, root beer. Oh, yeah. See, that ending is slick. Get thirsty. See, okay. If it wasn't for that ending, I would not have put it in great. But honestly, I'm going to put it in great. But unfortunately, I'm going to put it below everything else we've seen so far. SOE Double Tap, I'm going to put in great. It's like, yeah, it's about as good as regular Jug. But bro, nothing beats SOE Speed Cola to me. I will never forget listening to that jingle before the map even released because there were leakers that found it in the game files. And oh my gosh, as soon as I first heard it, I was like, yeah, this is best jingle hands down. Okay, next perk up that we have though right now is Stamina Up. Now, unfortunately, Stamina Up also does not have a SOE version, even though it's on SOE, but Mule Kick gets one? I don't know. So Stamina Up, oh. See, Stamina Up is like, you kind of, like, you get into a bar, people jive, it's like a jazz bar type of thing. Somebody on the mic, and then someone in the back was Stamina. See, it's not bad. It's not bad. See, they killed it. And it's like, you can tell for the original jingles, they really tried to differentiate every single perk within its own music genre, right? Yeah, it still hits. It still hits after all these years. I'm going to be honest, man. This one definitely has to go in Iconic. And honestly, I think I'm going to put it above Double Tap 2.0. Stamina Up is absolutely cooking. Listen, I hate to do this, but it's like, look at this tier list already. The bottom half is just not there, I feel like, until we get into the later perks. Personally, also, I'm not gonna lie, next up we have is Mule Kick. I'm not a big fan of Mule Kick. I'm just gonna put it out to you guys. This perk jingle, it's funny,
in a tortured land,
but like,
senoritas lived in fear.
I mean, it's still iconic, though. It's so iconic. El burro! The donkey noises. Like, what was Treyarch smoking with this one? How does this have anything to do with holding 3 weapons? It doesn't make sense. He kicked like a mule. Yeah. Nah. Okay, I was gonna put this in good, but to be honest, man, it has to at least be great. It has to be. Or even iconic. You know what? Okay. For my mule kick lovers, I'll put it at the bottom of... yeah, I'll put it at the bottom of great. Listen, I love it. But it has its issues. It has its issues, but don't get me wrong, boys. All these original Perks jingles were just so iconic. But nothing to me beats SOE Speed Cola by a mile, unfortunately. Like, all these jingles were absolutely iconic for the day. But now, our last SOE jingle, unfortunately, is Mule Kick. This one's quite short, so... I just feel like it's like a less good version of the original, you know? Like, it's got the original donkey sound effects, but it's kind of like... I feel like I just entered, like, a bar in Alabama, and this is playing, and all the older people are like, yeehaw, brother! Oh, I love my mule kick, brother! I mean, you can't help but laugh with Mule Kick SOE. That's why, honestly, okay, I'm going to put this one in great tier, but I think it has to go below original. I think original, it's definitely not as bad as, like, a good. I think all of these are genuinely just so iconic in and of themselves, especially just Speed Cola. Oh my gosh, Speed Cola cooks. I think you guys are going to roast me for this list. Like, I genuinely believe... I have, like, one of the most bizarre opinions about Perk jingles, which is why it took me so long to make this. But now, let's get into dead shots. I think this is where we start to see some bad ones. I know a lot of people like Deadshot, and I love the map it was introduced on, Call of the Dead. But, like... I gotta be honest. It's good, but it's not great. But it's like... It's got a good rock theme, but it's not, like, as flavorful as the other ones. You know what I mean? Like, you could pass this off as, like, a generic rock song. Right? Oh, man, but then here he goes in! He goes in! Honestly, quit complaining about your bad aiming. See, I remember that. I can't put this in good. No, I can't. I'm going to put this at the bottom of great. I have to. Your bad aiming. See, that's what I mean, man. See, all the old ones get you in the groove, right? Okay. I was going to put this in good. I'm not going to lie, boys, but let's actually put this at the bottom of great, okay? This is the most jaded opinion list ever. This is, again, I have to say, this is by no actual basis. Yeah, unfortunately, I think a lot of these are gonna go in the bottom tier. But it is what it is, man. It is what it is. Okay, so now we have PhD Flopper, PhD Slider. Again, they're the same perk pretty much. See, these cooked! How can I rate any of these poorly? How can I rate any of these poorly? This one's iconic. This was... I'll never forget when PhD first came out on Ascension, and I'll never forget all my friends were dying of laughter figuring out what it did, and then listening to the jingle, we were just like, oh, they cooked. PhD. No, this one cooked. This one cooked. I have to say PhD's was actually a lot better than Deadshot. So you know what? PhD, you're going in straight iconic. I'm not going to put any single one of these in bad, bro. Like, all of the jingles are so good. And I'm going to be honest. If they weren't, COD Zombies would not be as iconic as it is, which is why I think so many people still go back to the older games. Because I'm going to be honest, Treyarch sound team, especially with the jingles, these guys never missed. They really only started missing, I would say, up until like the last like 5-6 years with like some perk jingles and stuff. For example, like when we get to Elemental Pop, oh yeah, I'm not an Elemental Pop fan. But ladies and gentlemen, we're here. Okay. This one's so complicated, right? Because while the jingle is hilarious, would it be as good if Josh A never made the Dank Tombstone remix? This is the question I pose. Right? Like, I am tempted to throw this up in the top bar simply just because of how the community literally means it. You know what? If I didn't do this, I think people would literally sacrifice me. So you know what? Tombstone, you're going right next to SOE Speak. Like, there's no other better spot for it, man. Like, arguably, this perk jingle is the most influential perk jingle of all time, just because of how the community ran with it. Noah J could agree as well. That man has heard this perk jingle probably more times than his own voice at this point. So it's like, you gotta put it up with the SOE Speed Cola. I love it personally, this, just for the jingle. But the iconicism of Tombstone, man. But I will say, no Dank Tombstone. I gotta say it. Listen, you might hate me, but I gotta say it. But just because of what the community did with it, it has to be at the top. The iconicism, the everything about it was just too good. Now, this is where we get into some mixed stuff. This is where who's who really blew my mind. Who's who? Thing is, okay, I will say, I love the jingle. However, when you actually get this perk and you down, it is so annoying just hearing this guy in the background go, who's who? Who's who? Bro's literally got me questioning my existential crisis of existence. Because he just goes, who's who? Who's who? It just keeps going. You forget who you are. So honestly, as amazing as this jingle is, I think people are going to hate where I put this, especially because I'm going to rank Die Rise Remastered with this. I have to put this one in good. I'm so sorry, my Die Rise lovers. I really am. I am so sorry, bro, because I wanted this to be an actually, like, it is a good jingle. I'm putting it in good simply because of how annoying this perk can be when you down and actually use it. Because it just goes, who's who? Who's who? And I mean, maybe you like that. And maybe you'll throw it up in iconic because of that. I personally don't. So I'm leaving it in good. I hope you can understand my reasoning. I hope everybody does not hate me for that. We only really have 6 perk jingles left. And I gotta be honest, a lot of these ones aren't really that great. Now, the next perk jingle we have is not really a perk jingle. This is Electric Cherry. And so there's a lot of a backstory as to why this perk doesn't have an original jingle. I do remember talking to Mr. Waffles Milo about this, and apparently he did tell me that he did listen to the original soundtrack of what Electric Cherry's jingle is going to be. And so, to be honest, because this perk never got an official jingle that officially released, and this is all we have, like the Mob of the Dead sort of chime sounds, I hate to put it near the bottom, but it genuinely has to be. Like, I think because Mob of the Dead was such a masterpiece, they were too focused on making the map as good, and they kind of just left Electric Cherry in the dust. Even though the perk machine is great, I hate to do this. I genuinely do. But it's got to be lackluster. It literally has to be. It's not even a jingle. The sound effect that is originated with it is only like 5 seconds compared to an actual jingle, which is like 30 seconds plus, right? So Hate me if you want, but Electric Cherry has to be at the bottom. And that is simply because it just didn't get the love that it deserved. Now, let's get into this one. This is a good one. Treyarch cooked. Treyarch cooked. This is kind of like a grungy, kind of like cowboy type song. It's like literally in its own genre. Which is why... I love this Perk jingle. I love this Perk jingle. To me, I hate to say it's not iconic in the community, but I genuinely still believe it's an amazing jingle. Like, just listen to this. Oh, and then the solo? Listen, man. This just makes me sad this Perk never debuted outside of Buried, bro. Like, oh. And hearing this throughout Buried, honestly, I'm so tempted to put it in iconic. I really am. But honestly, I think I have to put it at the top of great. It is better than original Quick Revive for me. It is. It genuinely is. It is like such a banger of a Perk. And it is just genuinely so sad that it's kind of crazy because once Blundell came into the picture, Perk jingles kind of went away. And I actually remember having a conversation with Blundell about that. And he basically said, especially with the BO4 system, with like the 4 statues and the 4 generic Perk machines, he was like, yeah, we don't have to make Perk jingles anymore, which as a creator is amazing because you can focus on other stuff. But as a game player, it's just like, oh man, that like rips so much personality out of the game, which is why, man, I'm so tempted to put it up here. I really am. But it genuinely isn't iconic in the eyes of the community, which is why I have to put it down here. But now, next up, we have the classic, only BO3 Perk. See, this jingle's funny too, man. Corner! Little widows, man. Oh my gosh. It's iconic. I don't care. If you hate it, you hate it, but it's iconic, man. Woo! And listen, I think Blundell forcefully made this Perk iconic because it's the Black Ops 3 Perk. It's not in any game after. It's the only Perk introduced into Black Ops 3. It's simply iconic because of the way the Perk was introduced and put into the game. And it's a great jingle, man. Ooh. And then the end here. Oh my gosh. Nah, it's iconic. Hate me if you want, bro. I'm gonna get so much backlash for this list, bro. Hate me if you want. Widows is going in iconic, man. Okay. It's definitely not more iconic than Jug or PhD, but it belongs in iconic. I'll put it in the back tier of iconic, right? I think that's obviously where it deserves. I mean, come on, man. You don't think as a BO3 lover, I'm gonna put Widow's Wine at the top? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, now we're getting into some duds, in my opinion. What were they thinking? What were they thinking? I don't even know what the person is saying in the song. It just, I'm not feeling it. I'm not vibing with it. I know some people come up to me and they're like, bro, I love Elemental Pop. But then I'm like, huh? Like, I respect the effort. I like that they tried doing like more of a fruity song because it's like all of the different elements of AATs. It's cool, but it doesn't have that like hit to it, you know? It doesn't have that like sort of groove line that I could just sort of like jump right in and be like, ooh, yeah. Like, I'm just sort of listening to this like fully standstill, like, Like, literally. So, yeah, like I said, the modern ones are kind of a dud. So I'm going to be all right. I'm going to be honest, man. I hate to do this, to be honest. Oh, man, I kind of want to put it right here. I kind of want to put it right here. But, like, and especially because, listen, we didn't have a new perk jingle for all of Black Ops 4, right? I know the generic perk machines had one, but nobody remembers them, right? And then, so it's like, since BO3, we wait until Cold War to finally get a new perk jingle, and it's just... Ugh, you know what I'm saying? I think that's why I put it in lackluster. Genuinely, I think it is an alright jingle, but just because of the backstory about it and how long we waited for it, and then that's what we got, just kind of mid, man. I'm going to be honest, it definitely does not hit as much as it used to. But, I mean, okay, let's now get into really the last original perk jingle, which was also introduced into Cold War, Death Perception. Now... I do think this one is better. However, just don't let this blow your mind. Do you like hear that it doesn't have the same like energy? You know, it almost sounds like the jingle is like half volume. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like it is catchy. I'll give you that. Like I catch myself saying like Death Perception. Like it's catchy, but I don't know. I feel, for example, a perk like Death Perception should have had a hard metal song. Like it's about death and perceiving death, right? So. I mean, come on. I kind of feel like they also dropped the bomb with this. Cold War perk jingles were kind of mid. So I'm going to put this one in the only tier we haven't put in and say, it's all right. It's not good, but it's all right. It is a serviceable, passable job. I would definitely say Death Perception is better than Elemental Pop. I really hope that the Gulf War perk jingles for sure are better because I'm going to be honest, these ones are just kind of not that great, man. I'm going to be real here. Okay, and now the classic. The last one that we have is good old classic. Pack a punch. Here, there, seems like everywhere. Oh! Hey. Jeff Brown, the blacksmith, he saw his mother dying. This is funny, it's comedic, it jumps me right in, original pop. It's hilarious. It's hilarious. Like, it just sounds like I just entered the Midwest and this song is playing in the bar and everybody's just going, yeah, let's go now. Hey. And just the banjo in the back. This is a great one. Now, I will say, what's actually crazy is I genuinely believe if you were to ask most COD zombie players, they probably even forget that the Pack Punch has a jingle, which is sad. I'm going to be honest. That's sad. And so, ultimately, I think because of that, I can't put it in iconic because of that, right? I genuinely can't. And so, ultimately, I do think it belongs in the great tier. It's definitely better than Who's Who. It's in the great tier, but it's like, where do we put it in great? Honestly, I think I'm going to put it above Deadshot and also above Mule Kick, but behind the SOE versions of the perks. I'll put it in there. And like I said, it's a great jingle, but ultimately it just gets lost because a lot of people, I think, forget that Pack Punch just genuinely has a jingle. So, I mean, it is what it is. Ladies and gentlemen, this is all of my perk jingles ranked. I really hope that Black Ops Gulf War also has an amazing list of perks. Hopefully, per map, we get perks back. Because listen, Stamina Up's jingle and PhD jingle released on the same map in Ascension back in 2011. and they cooked. Both of them are in my iconic spots. And it's like, bro, if they were able to put out 2 jingles and make them absolute bangers back in the day, there's no reason they have any excuse with Black Ops Cold 4. And I hope to see some new perks. I hope to actually see more perks like Death Perception, perks from BO4 that get more jingles later on. But ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you think of my list, and I'll see y'all, ladies and gentlemen, in that next one.